Okay, so here's the rundown on the Lockyer versus Andrarde case. Leandro Andrade was a 9-year Army veteran. When he was in the Army, he got addicted to drugs. In 1983, he committed burglary to attempt to get drugs. 1994, a little while after that, California adopted the 3 strikes you're out law, which is where he was living. And it makes it so that if you have 3 felonies on your record, you get sent to prison for 20 years minimum without parole. And then in 1995, 1 year later, he decided to go to Kmart and steal a bunch of videotapes. Snow White, Casper, the Fox and the Hound, the Pebble and the Penguin, and Batman Forever. He immediately got caught and slapped in the face, but 14 days later, he decided to try it again, so he went and got Free Willy 2, Cinderella, Santa Claus, and Little Women. Once again, he was caught. He was sent to jail because he had 2 shoplifting and a burglary on his record, and then he was considered guilty by the court and was demanded to have 20 years without parole minimum, if not for life. And so he was like, what's he? So he tried to make a habeas corpus, which is a petition that tells the court, yeah, I know I did something bad, but would you please still love me? And that was denied. And then there were a lot of cases like this that started to add up, and then the Supreme Court was like, we should probably look at this. And so they looked at it, and then they decided that after a while, he was going to be able to get parole at 43 if he was going to be applicable for it. The constitutional controversy here is regarding the 8th Amendment, which is about cruel, unusual punishment, and whether or not that the crimes that they committed is applicable to the consequences they were given. The prosecutorial side of the court at the time was deciding that the law, in fact, was not unconstitutional, because if you're constantly stealing stuff, that means you are an annoyance to society, and you should be contained for your stupidity, and shame on you, and that is how it works. The defendant side of the court highlighted the fact that the 3 strikes you're out rule is only applicable to felonies, while shoplifting is a petty theft and is not applicable for a felony, and therefore should not be applicable for Leandro Andrade to be considered a felon with the 3 cases that he is cased in, making it so that he does not apply for the 3 strikes you're out law. The ending vote was the prosecutors won 5-4. Their main reason eventually being that receiving a new law is irresponsible authority, as well as not looking just on the crimes that were committed, but the constant repetition of the crimes that were committed. The defendant's final statement regarded the fact that the punishment was not at all equal to the crime, as well as the amount of money that it would take for the government to incarcerate him for 2 petty thefts and a burglary. This affects our government today because it makes it so that we are very careful to make sure to proportionate the crime and the punishment so that we do not start things like this again. Now go and discuss this with your family over dinner and make sure that everybody understands how everyone feels about this. Okay, so this is the rundown on the Lockyer versus Andrade case. Burglary.